Season 1 of Arcane introduces the sisters Violet and Powder, orphaned after their parents died in a failed rebellion waged by the oppressed people of Zaun against the utopian Piltover. The leader of the Zaun rebellion, Vander, feels guilty over leaving the girls as orphans and takes them in as his own daughters. Years later, Vi and Powder live with Vander and their adoptive brothers Mylo and Claggor. The four siblings sneak into the luxurious Piltover penthouse of a scientist named Jayce Talis to rob him, where Powder finds a cache of hex crystals, accidentally causing one of them to explode and forcing the group to flee. While traveling back to Zaun, the group are confronted by the antagonistic Deckard and his group of thugs, who attack the group to steal the loot for themselves. As the older siblings fight the thugs and Powder flees, she loses all of their valuables except for the mysterious crystals. Upon arriving home, Mylo and Claggor bemoan that Powder is a Jinx who ruins every heist they take part in, though Vi assures her sister that she will one day earn their respect. The siblings' target, Jayce Talis, is a student at Piltover's academy, studying the hex crystals in secret. Jayce was saved by arcane magic as a child and believes his research into the crystals could lead to the next step in Piltover's evolution. Unfortunately, his research is forbidden and he is expelled from the academy in order to destroy his research. He finds an ally in the sickly Viktor, the assistant of the academy's head, Professor Heimerdinger, and counselor Mel Medarda, who encourages his continued research in secret. Together they create Hex Tech, a new arcane technology. Back in Zaun, Deckard is working for the crime lord Silco, who alongside the mad scientist Singed is developing a serum known as Shimmer, which can greatly increase the physical power of whoever ingests it. Silco tricks Deckard into ingesting Shimmer, making him the first human experiment. They send their new superpowered soldier to capture Vander, and Deckard finds the man and his children being questioned by enforcers from Piltover over the robbery. Deckard kills the enforcers, sparing the life of one, Marcus, before bringing Vander to Silco. Vi, Claggor, and Mylo race to save him, leaving behind Powder due to her past screw-ups. Wanting to do her part in saving her family, Powder races to Silco's hideout and uses the explosive hex crystals against the crime lord's thugs, accidentally killing her brothers Claggor and Mylo in the process. Amidst the chaos, Vander manages to ingest Shimmer, allowing him to kill Deckard and save Vi, before succumbing to his own injuries. In the aftermath, a devastated Vi tells Powder that she truly is a Jinx and abandons her. Silco comes to Powder's aid, offering to help her show the world her true power. Feeling guilty and wanting to protect her sister from Silco, Vi tries to return to reconcile with Powder, but is unfortunately arrested by Marcus. Several years later, Hextech has grown in power and stature, earning the influential Jayce a seat on Piltover's council. He and Viktor have developed a fortified, less volatile Hextech gemstone that could allow the crystals to be used by anyone, but there are still years of fine-tuning needed before they are ready for mass production. Jayce and Mel begin a romance as they work closer together on the council, while Viktor becomes desperate to stabilize the crystals in the hopes of curing his deteriorating health. As Jayce and Viktor's research becomes more dangerous and reckless, Jayce has Heimerdinger removed from office for interfering with their research. They then bring in the mad scientist Singed to help further their research and complete their latest experiment, known as Hex Core. Powder now officially goes by the name Jinx and acts as a loyal henchman to her new surrogate father Silco, smuggling Shimmer into Piltover. Wanting to prove her true worth, Jinx once again robs Jayce, this time stealing the fortified crystals and delivering the crystals to Silco to earn his respect. Looking into Jinx's recent string of crimes, the enforcer Caitlyn helps get Vi released from prison so she can assist in navigating Zaun and bringing down Silco once and for all. One of Silco's newest loyal allies is Marcus, who is now sheriff thanks to Silco's machinations. Marcus helps officially pin Jinx's newest heist and explosive escape on the Firelights, a vigilante group trying to liberate Zaun from the villainous Silco. Just as Caitlyn and Vi find and reunite with Jinx, the Firelights intervene, capturing Caitlyn and Vi before the long-lost sisters can fully reunite. With the citizens of Piltover worried that the supposed Firelights attack is the first act of a new rebellious war, Jayce enforces a blockade between Piltover and Zaun. This only further turns the citizens of Piltover and Zaun against each other, leading to violence on the city's border. Singed gives Viktor a modified version of Shimmer in an effort to heal him. Although Viktor is healed, his experiments lead to the death of his childhood friend Sky, prompting him to reckon with his his recklessness and insists to Jayce that the hex core be destroyed. The Firelight's leader reveals himself to be Echo, a childhood friend of Vi and Jinx, who warns Vi that the powder she remembers is dead, and only the villainous Jinx remains. Caitlyn, Vi, and the Firelights agree to return the stolen Hextech gemstone to Piltover as a peace offering to end the increasing levels of violence. As they make their journey, they are attacked by Marcus, his enforcers, and Jinx herself. Jinx's attack is directed toward everyone, killing Marcus and his enforcers before turning her attention to Caitlyn, believing she has turned Vi against her. As Vi and Caitlyn flee, Echo confronts Jinx to give them time to escape. That fight results in a stalemate with both former friends seriously injured, though Jinx manages to steal back the Hex gemstone. After being removed from Piltover's council, Heimerdinger arrives in Zaun offering his assistance in the escalating war between the two cities. Meanwhile, Vi decides to reluctantly team up with Jayce to use his new superpowered Hex weapons against Silco and his army of Shimmer-enhanced soldiers. During a brutal battle, Jayce accidentally kills an innocent child, forcing him to confront the tragedy and casualties both cities would endure if the war escalated any further. And so he proposes to the Piltover Council that they make peace with Zaun, even offering the Undercity its long-desired independence in exchange for Silco turning over his own surrogate daughter Jinx. Unfortunately, as this council meeting takes place, Jinx captures Vi, Caitlyn, and Silco, bringing them all to a final confrontation. Vi insists that she has always loved her sister and wishes for her to be Powder once again. Silco insists that he has always been loyal to her, even more than her actual family. Silco then breaks free of his binds and tries to kill Vi, causing Jinx to spontaneously react to save her sister and mortally wound her surrogate father. As Silco dies in Jinx's arms, he reaffirms his love and devotion for her. Vi tries to comfort her sister, but Jinx declares that Powder is dead, and their bond as sisters is forever broken. As the season comes to a close, Vi and Caitlyn watch in horror as Jinx uses the fortified Hex Crystal to launch a rocket directly at the Piltover Council meeting, where the successful vote for a peace treaty is interrupted by a devastating explosion. In Season 2 of Arcane, Jinx's attack on the Piltover Council meeting leaves many high-ranking officials dead, including Caitlyn's mother, Cassandra. Jayce and Mel survive the attack, though Viktor is mortally wounded. To save his friend, Jayce goes against Viktor's wishes and uses the Hex Core to heal him. Viktor is revived, but now has metallic skin and strange new abilities. Viktor is furious at Jayce for using the unstable Hex Core on him, as he had wanted the technology destroyed after their reckless pursuit of its advancement led to the death of his friend Skye. And so Viktor turns his back on Jayce and leaves Piltover. Upon arriving in Zaun, Viktor uses his strange new Hex Core powers to cure residents of their Shimmer addiction, developing a cult-like following in the process. In the wake of Jinx's attack, the surviving members of Piltover's council retract their plans to grant Zaun independence and instead plot violent retaliation, despite Jayce and Mel's objections. Caitlyn joins the Piltover enforcers for their upcoming battle and asks Vi to join her, but Vi refuses, still haunted by the memories of enforcers killing her parents. During a memorial ceremony for the fallen counselors, an army of Zaun rebels somehow breach Piltover's defenses and attack. The enforcers defeat their enemies, but this further radicalizes the Piltover leaders, including Jayce, who is now resolved to use Hextech weapons once again to wipe out their enemies for good. As the Piltover Council prepares for an all-out assault on the residents of Zaun, Caitlyn becomes inspired by Vi to try a less violent plan, in which she would lead her own small task force to infiltrate Zaun and apprehend Jinx, neutralize the Shimmer drug, and bring down the remnants of Silco's loyalists, all in the hopes of avoiding an all-out war. The council agrees, and so Caitlyn leads her squad, which includes Maddie, Steb, Loris, and the reluctant Vi, now donning an enforcer uniform. As the squads enter Zaun to hunt Jinx, Caitlyn becomes more violent and aggressive, including using a toxic gas known as the Grey against the residents of the Undercity. Vi encourages Caitlyn to not lose herself in her quest for revenge, leading to the two sharing a kiss. Meanwhile, Silco's death has left the other crime bosses, Cross, Margot, and Smeech, fighting to assume control of Zaun for themselves. Savika, the late Silco's right-hand woman, urges the crime lords to stop their infighting and band together against Piltover, but they all all refuse. The Zaun civil war leads to many refugees being taken in by Echo, Heimerdinger, and the Firelights. When the tree in the center of their community begins to die, they seek the aid of Jayce. Based on knowledge from Viktor, Jayce theorizes the tree has been corrupted by the overuse of hex tech. As Jayce leads Echo and Heimerdinger into Piltover's hex vault to uncover the true source of the corruption, the trio are strangely and miraculously pulled into a void of the Arcane. Elsewhere, Jinx is now a fugitive and saves a young girl named Isha from the constant fighting in Zaun's streets, leading to Isha following her as a loyal companion. Isha reminds Jinx of Powder, the girl she used to be, and in caring for her, she begins to discover her old self again. Jinx finds refuge with her only ally Savika, and the pair mourn their beloved Silco together. When Vi and Caitlyn finally find Jinx, Savika comes to her aid, leading to a brutal fight. As Jinx is beaten, the young Isha comes to her aid. As a remorseless Caitlyn coldly opens fire on Jinx and the little girl, Vi intervenes to save the lives of her sister and the innocent child. Savika saves Jinx and Isha, and as they flee, they release the Grey into Piltover's own air supply. Caitlyn is left empty-handed and distraught over Jinx getting away. Blaming Vi, Caitlyn admonishes her burgeoning lover and abandons her, leaving Vi devastated. Upon her return to Piltover, Caitlyn discovers that Mel Medarda's mother Ambessa, a warlord of the militant nation of Noxus, was secretly behind the memorial attack, helping the Zaun forces breach Piltover's defenses in a plot to manipulate the council into declaring martial law. And so Piltover's officially militarized and Caitlyn is appointed its new commander-in-chief. Ambessa's daughter Mel is then captured by a mystical rogue order known as the Black Rose, who have long opposed Ambessa's rule. A sorceress of the Black Rose reveals to Mel that her birth was no accident, as she is in fact an empath mage who may be the only thing powerful enough to save the world from arcanic destruction. Elsewhere, the Arcane anomaly sends Heimerdinger and Echo into an alternate reality where all hex tech has been destroyed. Jinx is still Powder, living happily with an alive and well Vander, Claggor, and Mylo, and Vi has been killed. As Echo and Heimerdinger experiment with the Arcane to create another anomaly that will send them back to their original timeline, they also create a device that allows them to reverse time by 4 seconds. Echo also grows closer to Powder, leading to the two sharing a kiss. Ultimately, Heimerdinger is forced to sacrifice himself to the anomaly to allow Echo to return home. Unbeknownst to them both, the hex tech was never actually destroyed in this world, but instead hidden away by Powder. Meanwhile, Jayce awakens in an alternate hellscape where hex tech has destroyed everything and everyone, and is now overrun with menacing android beings. He is rescued by a lone survivor, a mysterious hooded figure who sends him back to his world with a new purpose: to rid the material world of all hex tech and destroy the energy supplying hex core by any means necessary. Meanwhile, Caitlyn's enforcers and Ambessa's soldiers now oppressively occupy Zaun. They arrest many rebels, including Isha and Singe, though as he's apprehended, the mad scientist purposely leaves a trail of blood, awakening his latest experiment, a human-wolf hybrid. Jinx and Savika work together to break into the prison and free their allies, though during the escape they are attacked by Singed creation. The rabid beast briefly calms down when it recognizes Jinx, revealing itself to be her miraculously alive and transformed adoptive father Vander before fleeing. Shocked by this revelation, Jinx tracks down her sister Vi, who has turned to alcoholism and subjects herself to the fighting pits to cope with her emotions. Jinx convinces her sister to accompany her to find their father, and after an emotional reunion, they take the erratic Vander to Viktor's now burgeoning commune, where he has been using hex tech to perform miracles and heal the disenfranchised residents of Zaun. And so Viktor uses his abilities to heal Vander's mind, allowing him to control his beastly impulses. Elsewhere, Ambessa tasks Singed with tracking down his hybrid creation Vander, while Caitlyn discovers that Singed is actually a man named Korin Revik, who in his quest to heal his terminally ill and comatose daughter Oriana, has conducted many dangerous experiments, including the creation of Shimmer. Singed then leads Ambessa, Caitlyn, and their troops to Viktor's sanctuary where they confront Vander. Finally recognizing the damage of her ways, Caitlyn chooses to reunite with Vi and join her cause. In the midst of this confrontation, the newly singularly focused Jayce infiltrates the commune and murders his old friend Viktor in an attempt to put an end to his growing hex tech use. In turn, everyone who Viktor had previously cured of their afflictions are unhealed, leading many to die. This reversal leads to Vander losing control of his mind to his beast form, turning him into a rabid monster who attacks everyone. Realizing Jinx's life is in danger, the young Isha heroically sacrifices herself to save her beloved mentor and kill Vander, while Vi and Caitlyn drag a devastated Jinx to safety. In the aftermath, Ambessa and Singe salvage the body of Vander and use its shimmer-infused blood to combine with Viktor's hex tech abilities, evolving him into a higher being. The new Viktor believes that humanity can only be saved from endless cycles of suffering and war and violence by unifying them all under his singular mind control. And so he devises a plan to absorb the power of the Hex Core beneath Piltover to attain complete power. Aiding in this mission is Ambessa, under the promise of Viktor evolving her and her soldiers. Meanwhile, Jinx is arrested for her crimes and awaits trial. As Vi attempts to free her, Jinx instead locks Vi in her cell and flees, believing it is too late to ever atone for all of the sins that she has committed. Caitlyn arrives to free Vi, and the lovers finally reconcile. Together they join Jayce and Mel, who rally the disparate citizens of both Piltover and Zaun to finally come together as one and face off against Viktor and Ambessa's army. And so an all-out war begins to determine the fate of the world. Ambessa's shimmer-enhanced soldiers quickly gain the upper hand, aided by the once again revived Vander. Fortunately, Mel's newly realized mage powers balance the odds. Elsewhere, Echo finds the depressed Jinx and convinces her that there is still time to atone for her past and build a better future. And so, Jinx joins Echo and the Firelights in the fight against Viktor and Ambessa. On the battlefield, Mel and Caitlyn team up to fight Ambessa, ultimately defeating her and allowing the Black Rose sorceress to capture her. Realizing that she had simply been used as a weapon of the Black Rose in their rivalry against Ambessa, Mel defeats the sorceress and saves her mother. Meanwhile, the sisters Jinx and Vi fight side by side against their rabid father Vander. Ultimately, Jinx emotionally sacrifices herself to defeat Vander and save her sister, finally finding peace and absolution. As the war rages on, Viktor arrives at the Hex Core, where he is confronted by Jayce. Echo uses his time-warping device to give Jayce the upper hand in his fight against Viktor. Here, it's revealed that Jayce's time in the alternate hellscape was actually a future in which Viktor's plan succeeded and he controlled everything. But realizing the error of his ways, the future Viktor went on a journey to ensure his own past defeat. He traveled back in time and saved a young Jayce's life, setting him on a path to research hex tech and befriend Viktor as an adult. And it was the future Viktor who was the mysterious hooded figure that helped return Jayce to his world to take part in the final battle. And so Jayce is able to break through to his old friend, and together they destroy Viktor's hold on all of his possessed minds, leaving their fates unknown but bringing the war to a peaceful end. As the series comes to a close, Mel assumes leadership of Noxus, hoping to be a better ruler than her mother. Singed experiments have finally led to his daughter Oriana being revived. And most importantly, the residents of Piltover and Zaun are finally unified as one, with Sevika appointed as a new council member, and Vi and Caitlyn standing lovingly side by side, ready to continue their fight for a better future.